Hello and welcome to Maana's house. My name is Zakia and I'm also affectionately known as Maana, which means big sister, because I'm just everybody's big sister. Today I have with me Ryan Hassan and Sama, and they're joining me on a topic that is trending at the moment. And it's a lesson my grandmother used to teach me. So basically she would say if there was a guy interested in you, you mustn't make yourself stale. So as girls, we're told we need to be treated like queens. But seldom or we are offended when we're asked the question, well, what is it that you are actually bringing to the table? So the question, or the lesson my grandmother was trying to teach me is know your worth. And that's the question that we're going to be unpacking today. What is your worth? And what do we hold valuable? Ryan?
You said earlier on that your grandmother said, or people get taught that they should be treated like queens. Now, me personally, I have an issue with that because they should be taught how to act like queens because you get treated like what you act. See, that's the mistake we got. Everybody tells you this is how you should be treated. That's a sense of entitlement. That's why you women run around wanting to be treated a certain way but act a different way altogether. I have an issue with that. And that's what we need to check.
Okay. And how or where would we start? How would we start?
By your grandmother.
Okay. Tell me more.
The people that are asking you to act a certain, to expect a certain conduct and not give it. Women should be teaching their daughters. I have a saying for every mother out there, especially when they have sons. Behave in a way that you want your son's wife to behave. Now, how they're going to know how to behave like that? They don't get taught like that. You're taught you must be treated like this, and this is what you must expect, and you must be taught what to do, how to attain that kind of thing. That's what I think.
Okay, so what you're saying is rather than to teach us women what to expect, also know exactly how to behave in order to acquire it.
Indeed. If you can't be expected to be treated like a queen and you're not acting like one. And a lot of women don't act like queens. Remember queen, regal, sophisticated, smart, intelligent, patient, kind. Well, if she's a good queen.
No, that's so fair. I saw a story or a reel on Instagram, and this lady was proudly bragging about, if you as a guy are gonna ask me, what is my worth, then you got about 2 minutes before you don't speak to me again, because I'm not here to justify myself. I'm not auditioning for something. And I thought that was a very flawed thinking, because we expect to know what the guy is bringing. Why shouldn't he ask?
Most of the time, a man wouldn't have to ask you that if he sees it.
So what is he looking for then? What is he seeing if he knows?
What is he looking for? Well,
yeah.
It's different for every man. Most men is different, but there's common factors that men look for. Common factors, But
okay, so from my perspective, I would say, peace would be number one. Yeah, it's not subjective. We're saying in general, and this is in a home for your mental health. You're raising kids, you're raising a family, and you should start with peace. I want to ask the question from a man's perspective.
See, this is the thing. You didn't say the peace is not, respect is first.
That's
first. You see, because there can be peace and no respect. People can disrespectfully be peaceful. You know what I'm saying?
I never thought of it that way. I've always thought peace comes with respect.
No, I just say, you might find peace because we're not talking to each other. You might find peace because I'm avoiding you.
But in my mind, it's like, okay, we are avoiding each other, but there's peace because it's quiet.
Yeah.
But our minds are not at peace.
Exactly.
So, for my understanding and thinking, is peace means peaceful in every way. I'm going to put your mind at ease.
Peace is something you give someone, not something you necessarily are. It's something you give someone, because when you come, you wave a peace flag when you come to someone. That means you are coming in peace. You understand? You coming in peace. Peace is something you give someone. Now, people just expect that just because I'm nice to you, you're being peaceful. There's people that I always say, I have the smelling salt theory, that if I knock you out and give you a pillow and a blanket and make you sleep comfortably, I'm bringing you peace. And then someone that comes and violently shakes you up. Someone that comes and violently shakes you up. One of us is doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? So you got to figure out what the peace is. So you women must figure that out. What kind of peace you bring.
So what does peace look like?
Like I said, that's subjective. For me, it's different.
Yeah, please enlighten me on that. Because I've always thought peace is something different, and I just discovered that, okay.
Does it make sense to you though?
It makes sense to me, because I thought, okay, if you're feeling yourself today, and I'm like, okay, you're feeling yourself today, so I'm going to give you your space and just keep quiet and keep feeding you, and you can rumble there. I'm giving you peace.
No, I understand what you're saying. You think you're giving space. You're not just giving peace. Peace is a gift. You understand? So when people say, "Oh, I'll bring his peace. I'll be your peace," they don't even know what it is that they're talking about.
That's the thing I want to know.
Exactly. Now, who's supposed to have taught you? You're waiting for me to teach you what peace is.
Well, I would say that peace starts first with yourself. Like you said, respect us, being at peace, knowing what it is that you want. Before you just turn up your nose at what are you turning your nose up at? Zama was telling me a story earlier about how she met her husband. And maybe at some point we'll tell the story, but the guy approached her and he was quite charming, and then she stood him up. Why did you stand him up?
We digress. We digress.
Okay, bring me back.
Let's go back.
Okay, bring me back.
Let's go back to, I know maybe it's a wonderful story, but this is what we do, we digress from the point. And the point is women get told what to expect and not what to be or give. And we established that peace and respect are the two factors that rank some of the highest, because I know men run to peace and men go where they're respected, and they don't want to be where they're not respected and where it's not peaceful. No matter if a man got 10 women, the one that treats him the best, he'd keep going there more than everywhere else. Now, that's where we are.
So I suppose knowing your husband, whatever it is that helps. So maybe helping make his life easier. Is a one translation, because what you are doing is trying to make his space comfortable. He's obviously not in a good mood. Just stepping aside is not really contributing. It's not helping. But you would know the things you would do.
Yes, as Ryan is saying it, that we are not taught that. Maybe we are. Maybe for our generations, we were not taught peace, but we were just taught stability.
I understand what you're saying, and it's very important that you use the generation aspect, because when we're dealing with this kind of dynamic where guys and girls get together, and I'm using guys and girls loosely, girls that are out of school or in school, or let me talk about out of school because we're talking about 18 and up, they're looking for boyfriends. I always separate them from bill payers, non-bill payers. You know what I'm saying? So when you're looking for a man at that time, it's different, because girls are just at that age are just looking to feel the guy must make them feel like there's no one else in the world but them. They ask you literally, I want attention. They said, women say this, I want attention. And then when you call them attention seekers, they get offended. Okay? But they tell you, I want attention. So then as you get a little older, we look at different things. We look at as women, and dare I speak for you can correct me if I'm wrong. You look for different things. You look for now aspirations. Now we're dealing in the age group of about 24 to 28. We're looking for aspirations. So we're looking at, as he has a job, is he studying in this, and then from when you're dealing with men 30 and up, you're looking for prospects of stability. So when you asking these questions about women, you have to stipulate which woman you're speaking about, or which type of men they're looking for, because the piece you bring to these three different types of men will be different.
Well, I suppose the 18 to 24, that group, I suppose we should be asking them this question. We haven't taught them. So, okay, so the first lesson we would say is he wants to be that. What would be the second lesson? Or what would we teach them? What would the lessons be that you would teach 18 to 24-year-olds? Your daughter is 18 to 24. FBI?
Feminine, beautiful, inspirational.
Okay.
That was a thing. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down. FBI.
We have to ask our daughters the simple questions. Don't be difficult. Don't be difficult.
You see, once again, that's why I'll go to the generation part. We were taught to be difficult.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's what I was saying. You see, that's what I was saying from the beginning. When you said, we taught what to want. And the fact that we weren't taught what to be is an issue. And I must say, there are examples, like for instance, when you see your granny treat your grandfather in a certain way, we would look at that as she's being suppressed. Or, I would never. Where did we get this from?
No, that's true.
Where did we get this from? It's like a man buying a woman something, and your man buying you something, and me as another man said, I would never. Can you imagine that? As a man, me looking at your man treat you right and say, I would never. Now you women become it's so normal now with women, when another woman does something, when a woman does something to celebrate or appreciate a man, other women literally say, how could you? I would never do. They tell you this.
Yeah, no, that is very true.
Yes.
I've been the recipient.
She's making a spectacle of herself.
Oh, imagine.
But you can imagine if a man said that. When you women say that to each other, it's liberating, allegedly. And I'm not saying you guys necessarily agree with it. But if a man said that to another, other men look at me like, what are you talking about? Look, it's different if it's tricking. Because you get simp men.
Okay, tricking?
Men that are making a fool of themselves by spoiling women that aren't theirs. But I'm talking about now when someone is with a woman that's his, and your man does something masculine for you. Imagine your man jumps out and changes the tire, and I said, I will never.
Yeah, we don't appreciate the feminine things that we should do naturally.
Yeah, because you guys diss each other for doing the right thing. Now, man, we can't say that. I can't say a man, look at that guy. His child fainted and he's carrying his daughter. I would never do something like that. The rules are different.
And sometimes you're right, like my grandfather taught me, and he goes, Mama, you must make sure you can cook. You're a big girl now, you must learn how to cook because one day you're going to feed your husband. And it's a simple lesson. And
imagine your grandfather told you that. Your grandfather.
Yes, he did.
Who should have told you?
Your mother. Your mom should have told you that. As I was saying, that for us, our generation, I'll keep going to the generation because I am this generation.
For sure.
We were taught to survive. Okay?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
basically, your day as a girl looks like you wake up, clean the house, make food, make sure everybody's okay, do your washing. When it's dry.
And you all hated it.
Yes, we hated it. We hated it. I did not understand that until I had to have my own home.
Exactly.
I hated it because I would wake up in the morning. I knew wake up 5 o'clock, porridge. That's the first thing. Porridge in the stove. Okay. What's next? You sweep. You open the windows. It's clean. Okay. Your grandfather's about to wake up. Okay. You need his shoes are ready for him. Water. First thing he wakes up because he would wear these white robe things. You make sure his shoes are by his bed. If he comes out, you have that water for him to wash his hair because he's been touching, wash his hand, towel.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, no, girl, that's just slavery. I would never. Can you imagine?
You see, those things were very abusive to me at that time.
You understand?
But now that I look at it and I'm grown, those things are relatable. They taught me the right stuff.
Yes.
But now I want to know, how do I pass that on to my daughter?
We need to let young ladies know that it's okay. That is your strength, not your weakness. Because you've realized now that's your strength. Because I promise you, which man can sit across a woman and says, yeah, I can't cook, take me as I am? I mean, really, I don't understand how women shy away from what men love most. And what men love most is femininity. We love that the most. And I know guys that are simp men that are trying to please the woman that got a bit of a butch woman and a bit of masculine woman, which is their thing.
Mm-hmm.
They would argue the point, but every man likes his woman to be feminine. And I know feminists might argue that, are you saying that doing these things
Is being feminine.
is being feminine? That's what they would ask me. A lot of people would ask me that. And at the risk of a feminine onslaught, is me protecting my family, is that masculine or feminine?
Masculine.
Oh, how could you? How could you say such a thing? Why can't you do it? Can you imagine if men spoke like that?
Yeah.
Oh God, why can't you go to work? Why can't you pay the bills?
Yeah. Why when someone's coming at the door to rob, why don't you go there and fight them? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's my duty to listen to the sacrifice a man has, a spiritual contract he has, is to put his life on the line for you and everyone in his home. That's the spiritual contract he has between you and his creator. He's expected to do that. And when you marry a man, you're not marrying a man that's not willing to do that. Imagine a man tells you, listen, I'm going to marry you, but I'm not willing to put my life on the line for you. Will you marry?
Nope.
Just that is a defining factor. Just that. The fact, I'm not saying, God forbid he has to. God forbid he has to. But imagine if he told you, no, not me. No, I'm not doing it.
It's one of those things I imagine.
What more are you going to say?
But I'm not safe.
No, but listen. Why you expect me to do such a masculine thing? I mean, aren't we equal? You're a woman, and do you understand?
Yeah, you did.
Do you understand this feminist argument?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that you can't, because there are women that actually can. But who is the onus on? This is a spiritual onus. We expected to do that. So, excuse me. So when women are saying things like, yeah, but you can cook, yes, I can. Yeah, but you can't clean the house, yes, I can. And I'm not saying that you should only do it. Like if I'm at the defending the family and I can pass you a firearm to do the same, I mean, it's cool. Because we work as a team. But there's an unwritten contract that if I told you that I'm not willing to do that, like you can come up to me and say, oh, listen, you can marry me, but I'm not willing to cook and I'm not cleaning for you. And we, as some men, say, okay. But if I told you that I'm not willing to provide and protect for you, you won't marry me. So we have to rethink this whole dynamic about what you ladies are actually teaching your daughters and your children.
So men's traditional roles are, or at the very minimum, protect and provide, and women would be to nurture and to teach.
Exactly. Listen to what you just said.
Nurture and teach.
And how much of that's actually happening?
Yeah. Well, to,
They do teach.
The
but
wrong thing.
They just teach you what to be.
To be defiant. Listen, I'm not saying to be defiant. Listen, there's nothing wrong with telling your daughter to be independent. I encourage that. I encourage that. There's nothing wrong with telling your daughter to be strong. I encourage that. But if you're not telling her to be soft and submissive, if you're not telling her that side of the coin, and letting her know it's okay to be like that. It's okay to be like that. It's okay to be nurturing. It's okay to be, preparing your man's meal or handing it to him. Firstly, if you have to look at it, his life and death's in your hand because you're feeding him. So you have the power.
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? You have the power in your hands, and we just look at it as, oh no, you're not a slave. And like I said again, could men say these things? because we will be disqualified immediately.
Yeah.
We will be disqualified immediately. So we have to look at the qualifications that we stipulate in our little girls, in our daughters, in our sisters. What are the qualifications they should have that there's no man that runs away from a woman that treats him like a king. No man. I mean, I'm not saying no man ever, but no one runs away. If someone treats you like a king and someone doesn't, there's your choices. Someone treating like a king and someone not treating like a king. Those are the choices. And you telling your daughter, no, who's he? He must treat you like a queen. You don't worry about treating him like a king because who's he? And yet men are fewer. Good men are even fewer. Almost every woman cannot tell me anything that exclusifies themselves.
Sorry, repeat it?
Almost any woman can't speak of an exclusive quality.
Why are you exclusive?
Most women. It's very hard.
Well, it is a very hard thing to think about.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
I'm thinking.
What can you get from me that you cannot get from
Exactly.
anywhere?
Okay, not even anywhere else. That is only few other women have it. You can't think of something. First, there's a lot of women.
Exactly.
Secondly, whatever you're offering, you can't say few other women have it. It's very difficult for you. Men can say that. And yet you guys think you're around the world.
So girls, we don't run the world?
You run your mouth.
Oh, Beyonce lied to us.
Okay, I want to take a couple of steps back before we go on. You mentioned women eat it. Well, the soft and submissions, being soft and submissive. So soft, we understand. And,
And not only, but you should have that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But you're breaking. I just want to, unpack that a little bit because people hear the word submission, and in my experience, hear oppression. And that's not the case.
But that's when we lower the IQ of the discussion to lower resonating people that vibrate at a lower frequency. They think of such basic things as oppression when you talk about submission. But people and then you stop the conversation with them because you realize that no, we're not the same. We're dealing with people that understand.
Okay. I'll take that.
I will take.
I'm still thinking about
However,
what makes me exclusive though.
However, you have to address it with people that don't understand because they don't know. And if you don't teach people, they don't know.
So how do you teach somebody? So for me, it's, actually, I don't want to say this for me. So what is submission to you?
No, before I go there.
Okay.
Ryan just made me realize that submission and what was that you said? Oppression.
Yeah.
Somehow has become one thing.
And it's not.
And it's not. You're right. Actually, yes. You're right.
And it's not. People think, I don't know, people think being submissive means you're going to turn to be this yebo baba person. Like, would you like theft over you and all you do is like, your hand is right here. Yes. Do this, do that.
But yet when you go to, after the exam, you submit your papers. After the exam, you submit the papers. Are you being oppressed? Submission is not surrender. You understand? Submission is not surrender. When I ask you, for instance, when we're grappling, and submission is acknowledging, okay, you got me. You acknowledge that. You got me. However, that doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't mean oppression at all. It doesn't mean oppression. Once you're dealing with a personality that you deem oppressive, you shouldn't be dealing with it. So we shouldn't be having even a discussion. What are we talking about? If you think I'm oppressing you, what are we talking about? You shouldn't be dealing with me because you're free.
What are you still doing here if I'm oppressed?
Exactly. What are you still doing here? You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't. When we're talking about submission, I'll say 1 and 1 is 2. Do you submit to that? Yes.
Do I want to
allowing
point 1 or point
You know what I'm saying?
So it's basically allowing a man to take lead. Like for me, I think the way an older person would have explained it, or people explain it, is the man is the head and the woman is the neck.
I guess When I think submission, yeah, it's basically knowing position. Every institution of order, be it school, be it the army, be it the police force, be it someone has to submit to someone. There's order and hierarchy. We were told at home they mustn't be. The way we growing up, people have grown up now. Imagine there must be no order at home. There's no hierarchy at home. The children have more say than anybody else. The women have say. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but more than the man has no say in his home. Nothing. Because he's held to ransom for meal. He's held to ransom for sex. He's held to ransom for, you know what I'm saying, to get the silent treatment. So he has no say in his home. So
he gets bullied.
Yeah, he's getting bullied in his home. The children have more say than him. There's an order there's a theological order where God comes first, the husband, the wife, and so forth and so forth. This is a theological order. There's a physical, natural order where a man is generally stronger than his woman, so the strongest should lead. And you would choose a man that's generally smart. So you give him that. Because you recognize as a woman that, listen, I get a bit emotional sometimes, and I
just need a hug.
Yeah, I get a bit emotional sometimes. I need a hug, and also I
chest.
need that logical perspective. And you won't marry a man that you don't think has the right kind of logical perspective. So I don't know where it came about, and when this happened, that we started saying that no, there's no such thing as he's in charge of the home. This, theologically, in most belief systems, the man is in charge. So whenceforth has this come?
I think it comes from the fact that many women are single mothers. So I think when that happened, it made women realize, I can do what he can do. I can hold a home, hold a job, feed my kids. I don't need him.
Yeah, then you don't need him. What's he doing there? Then you don't need him. So you can't hold him to hostage, because if you don't need him, what's he doing there? Then let him go.
Yes, but you see,
we can't talk about single mothers because they're single. They're single. Are you talking about couples? Or?
Okay. I'm just saying, I think that's where this thing of independence generally came from.
It is true. It did come from the dynamic of where, and we have to look at it culturally. And I hate to say this, but there is a racial demographic that single mothers are prevalent. Is that the word? Prevalent. Single mothers are prevalent, and they tell their kids, tell their daughters, and you see, and the daughter sees the mother being masculine into the home. And I'll always say this, I come from a place and from a culture where if my cousin was the same age as me, fair fight, boy and girl, we kids, we're rolling. This is not a normal thing in all race groups, in all countries. This is not a normal thing. But for us, it was normal.
Yes.
It was normal. You fight, fair fight, with a boy. Yeah. You see how normal that is for you. We're rolling. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You don't, this, and I don't want to say where you won't just find it, but you can imagine.
Boy comes at you, tie my hair.
You tuck the thing in the pants, yeah.
Yes.
It's on. It's on. You go fight for your younger brother, fifth, you go in there.
Yeah.
Fighting.
Yeah.
It's not a normal thing.
Because we had to.
No, you didn't really have to.
So not we, our mothers, and I want to amplify your points. The short story, an auntie of mine, is what I would deem as successful. She was a single mom before. She went on to be, own a home and so on and so forth, got a degree in her 40s. And we were having a conversation, and she's evolved and she's found a partner, and she says, Zakia, we had to be men because we had to solve all these problems. And I'm learning now that I actually have to unlearn that, because I'm not supposed to be like that. I do, like somebody I like getting my nails done. I like being taken care of, and those things mean that I need to suffer.
How sad it is when a woman thinks of herself, she doesn't have to be masculine. She talks about getting her nails done, and not how she treats the man.
No, well, when I'm talking about being treated, I use that as an example from myself. It's just as an example of something feminine. It could be subjective. Everybody would want different things, right? But to be treated, whatever that is, it doesn't have to be your nails.
No,
It doesn't have to be
I understand,
your
but I understand what you're saying. But
And
the point I'm making is, and this is, and I'm just trying to point it out, and this is not to make you look bad, but I'm just trying to point it out that immediately we associate being feminine with what you can get out of it.
Well, yes, I want to highlight.
You
the
talk about being feminine of what
reciprocation.
you can get out of it.
I
Yes.
get my nails done.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Not how I treat him.
Yes. Fair enough. And you know what? That's if we have an expectation. I want to go back to the question that we started with. What is your worth? And you break it down. Okay, if you can articulate it and you have some kind of expectation, then that means you can articulate what your reciprocation is, and that's what we're saying.
Exactly.
We should be able to.
Exactly.
Okay.
But we actually didn't ask that question in the beginning. We didn't. But since I understand where we're leading to, but the other question to stack that, and I did it deliberately, was to ask the question differently. What makes you different? Give me you and 50 other women out of, let's say, 6 billion women, 5 billion women in the world. What will make you different? What makes you different? And I'm giving you one in 5 billion, and you can't think of anything.
Other than I'm a unique combination of myself. No, there's other girls that
For me, it's
in my
just
demographic.
the only thing that just pops in my head is that I'm me.
Yeah,
One
that's- I'm unique. That's it.
that is just no, guys.
Hey, I have accolades, but I don't think that other people don't have them.
Listen to me. You know, I mean, I know you can. I said this about men. There's a lot of men in the world. There's few good men. They few. The good men are few, and I'm saying good men is good enough for you. Think about it. There's few men that are good enough for you. You right now.
Good or good enough?
Good enough. Let's say good enough for you. Leave out good. I'm not going to say because good is subjective. But good enough for you, you can't think of 10. That's how few they are.
Already, I'm just thinking. Okay,
I
I
can
have
think-
to downgrade.
But I can think
He's good, but
of
But
millions
but
and millions of women that are good enough for me. You can't think of 10. This has to be, yeah, drink up. This has to be addressed. You understand? And it just shows you, and I'm just like, ladies, you know, I mean, you guys are representing the females. It just shows you how far from grace we've fallen. Because there's gentlemen sitting there. How many women can you think of are good enough for you?
Maybe 20 off the top of my head.
Okay, you can think of at least 20 off the top of your head. But in truth, you know in the world there's millions.
there's more.
like you
They can't think of 10 men that are good enough for you.
I want to say something. Like
I want to say who it is, but
no.
Yeah, and there's more of them. There's more of them than there are of us. Now and yet they make it seem like they the prize.
oh God.
Because who really is the prize?
Oh.
No, ladies,
Oh.
ladies.
You
Let's be
know-
honest. Let's take the emotion. Don't get triggered. Don't get triggered.
No, I'm not.
Let's take the emotion out of it.
No.
Who really is the prize?
But, okay, before we go to the prize, you have just made me realize that, okay, the minute you said good enough meant for me, I didn't go for looks in my head. I just said, okay, how much does he have? Can we provide a house? Can we go on holiday? I'm already there.
Yeah, but you know what? And how less? And they even limited. That's even limited. Even that's a few. Do you understand? Even that's a few. Now, when you start breaking them down, let's say you like a man. Give me a quick description. We're talking. I understand you're married. We're just talking, just aesthetically.
In general, tall,
Yeah.
muscles.
Think of 10 now. You understand? Us.
Already, I'm thinking I'm just gonna walk by him and just smell what his gym bag smells like.
Let me tell you, you don't smell my gym bag, I'll be out. My gym bag, it's like it's a corpse that died in there. You know what I'm saying? But you can smell me.
You smell good, not
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, not my gym bag. That's the gym bag.
That is the bit unfair, Zama, like, that's the joke.
You know,
But listen, no, it's fine because
Yeah.
she's now set a criteria for herself,
That's
which makes it even less. The more you add onto the list, the more limited your options come. Us as men,
so you
it's a
guys
difference.
don't have a list.
no, we have, but there's so many of you guys. That's why I'm saying, if the young man here gave a list of the type of woman he's interested in, by the time we get to the bottom of the road, we'll find 5. You will hope that you see another one this month. You'll hope.
Yeah. Because she's like, okay, there's a chest there, but
You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things. As you know, I've heard this from somewhere that us men will settle for 80%. Sometimes even less. Women battle with that. And there's fewer men. Now you must remember, take away homosexuality. Listen, let's do the numbers. There's fewer men, right? Eligible men. So let's look at you looking at men from the age. If you're looking at men from what age?
40 up.
Right, 40 up. Like so now 40 up. You know, from 50, even from 40, a lot of men they look terrible. A lot of men.
It has to be a good-looking 40 and up.
Wait, now so we're dealing with men from because you know a lot of men from 25 they're already down here.
Aye.
But let's look at from 40 and up. So we're dealing with men from 40 and up that look decent.
Salt and pepper.
Yes, okay, cool. You'll get that. But then you're looking at other structures, you're looking how many men from 40 actually work out? A lot of them don't. A lot of them don't. Then how many of them are tall and a lot of them by this age have their wives and have their families and they don't care much about themselves as they used to. I'm not saying all of them, but you get the unicorns every now and again. Right? So when you start establishing and you start narrowing it down, it gets less and less, and then you have to think who's available. Who's available at 40? If you're a single woman, 40 and up. Now we're talking 40 and up. Let's look at. Let's say it's 52. Tell me 5 52 hot men. 5.
I need Google for that.
I don't need Google, there's an Nkulube, but that's in America. Like if I know what 5 people I don't.
Yes. Okay. Let's look at 5 45-year-old hot men. Go for it. 5. Ask me, woman your age, how many hot women I know?
How many?
Millions and millions. This is what I'm saying. So all I'm saying to ladies,
The pool is small.
respect us.
Because you're the prize.
Respect us. No, seriously, this is what I'm saying. A man deserves that respect. Especially if you've chosen to be with him. If you had a body count of 10 men, it puts me off. But if I had a body count of 50 women, I'm not saying it wouldn't put you off.
It just says you're experienced.
No, and you know what you think? Out of those 50 women, he chose me.
Exactly.
But we're not thinking like that. Hey, out of those 20 body counts, he chose me. I'm thinking like that. What the hell? Why she chose me? When you choose me, it's an insult. When I choose you, it's like you've been.
It's like you found your halo
Yes.
to me. You're like.
But when you choose me out of the 50, I'm thinking, so what did she see in me that's a punk that she wants to settle with me?
Okay, can I play devil's advocate? And I'm playing devil's advocate.
Play it.
Is this not a double standard?
No, it's not double standard. Oh, it just shows the fact that we see things differently. It's not double standard at all.
It's a perspective.
No, okay, let's do the numbers here, right? Let's do the numbers.
I'm gonna be so sorry I played devil's advocate.
No, let's do the numbers. Seriously, you as a woman, the fact that this kid he dated 30 10s, 75s, but he dated 30 10s, and he chose you. You can date 5 millionaires. If I still, okay, I can't say, body count for women, but 1 is too much for any man. 1 is too much for any man. But the points I'm making is when you guys choose us, if you guys have let's give an equal number. Right? Let's say the body count is 15.
Yeah.
15. Yo, I tell my friends, her body counts 15. They'll say, ha! It doesn't matter to us. So then you get guys that'll be okay with that. But like I said, we're just different. We see things differently. So you can't ask me if it's a double standard. The rules are different.
So you're not advocating equality. We're not talking about equality. I think that's a mistake a lot of people make, or females. We want equality. I don't.
But you guys want equality when it suits you.
No, 100%. I don't want equality. If there's between me and you, if there's a table that needs to get moved, you should move it equally. Okay.
What I'm advocating, sorry to interrupt you.
No
What
problem.
I'm advocating is that you females must teach your daughters to appreciate a good man.
I love that. We should. We should
In
learn-
action.
What do you mean
action.
Not just say it.
Yes, not just say it. In action.
Yeah.
Appreciate it in action.
Yeah.
There's nothing, there's certain actions that women do that we like.
Please share a few with us.
You'd hardly hear a female say to her friends in front of a man, look how good my man looks. They don't want to say that.
They're gonna steal him.
Then you should check your friends. You should get some new friends. You should get some new friends.
That is a mentality that is just not queen-like, really.
You should get some new friends.
That's what
But you know how good it'll make him feel.
We never thought you wanted to be made a spectacle.
No, it's not about making him spectacle, but if you say that, no man will say, we'll get shy. We'll get shy. Or if you say, and I'm just giving an example, you'll get some men in your comments that will say, oh, no, not men, but, we're talking about kings here.
Kings to kings.
If you say to them, to a man, if he's just sitting and you start massaging him, out the blue, we like that.
Yeah, you guys do melt.
We like that.
For no reason. A massage will just make you go, you even change your day.
We like that. I'm just talking about in action, and I'm not even going into sexual things. I'm talking about just things like, we like that. And with us, it's things that you don't necessarily can buy. It's not necessarily that you can buy, but if you buy something that's cool, we also like that. But appreciation in action. Like how you all say you want attention, and when you'll, I try to understand that when you'll say you want attention. What is this? What are you talking about?
Your time. We want your time. We want somebody to.
So you're attention seekers, but.
Well, I mean, isn't that an expectation when you're in a relationship? You want that person's. Yeah.
Those things should go without saying. I mean, those things should go without saying. You know what I'm saying? Like those things, the things I'm asking for don't go without saying. But if someone's in a relationship with you.
And they should go without saying. They actually should. Because like you said, when we started talking, we spoke about ourselves and what we wanted, what we expected. And, just climbing up and going, okay, you must accept me as I am. Nah, dude, look, what you just broke down, essentially, is that there's a tiny little dating pool in terms of available men that we deem. Basically what I was saying is you narrowed down the fact that we have a limited pool of eligible men, and that we couldn't exactly highlight one particular thing that differentiates us exponentially from the rest of the general female population. Like I can't say I'm Oprah. It's not like that. And those statistics speak for themselves, and yet men only want the simple things: acknowledgement, respect. That's all you're asking. And when we're presenting our CVs, firstly, we don't want to present it. We don't want to say, listen, hey, this is what I want. We don't want to do that. And it's unfair. So essentially, what you're saying is it's hard being a man.
That's hard. It's hard being a man. And you know, we want you guys to make it easy for us.
That's the lesson I've learned today. You just want us to make it easy.
Yes.
Maybe our problem is that maybe we try too hard
To do what?
to make it easy. That we miss the whole point of making it easy, and it just goes right back to being hard.
So we're just overing them.
No, ladies,
Like-
no, ladies. Let's not do that. Let's be fair. You know, there's no such thing as you trying too hard to please me. You know, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as.
Okay, maybe let me give you a picture in my head.
Okay.
Okay. Instead of paying attention to you, I am paying attention to everything around you to make sure that it's perfect.
But that. Whether I'm there or not, you should be doing that anyway. The point, I see what you're trying to say, but as a man, as your man, when you go, that's my man. That's the thing. That. You know how much that does for men. His chest pops up. He does a little smile. He tries not to show tries to show that it doesn't affect him.
Oh, it becomes a pigeon.
And you know what? You know what's the
Pigeon
opposite of that? Is there's this man yakking.
That's what happens.
Go feed this
He's
man.
so naring.
What does he want now? He's still calling me. Yeah, we do say the opposite. We hear that more than we go. Oh, I appreciate you.
Until Becky comes along.
Oh, you're starting with me. You're treating me.
Until Becky comes along. Until and I hate to say it, until she comes along, or until Ragini comes along.
Is that the time we actually pay attention?
You know why you'll get so mad at them? Because they're right. You'll get woman. You wouldn't get upset at a woman that's worse than you.
No, I would laugh at you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You cheat on me with the scruffy that is just way there. I'll be like,
But what you don't know is that she's saying, what happened? Was she fighting with you again? About what? Okay. Guys will sacrifice a lot for peace.
Yes, it was on something I watched on a podcast somewhere, and there was a study that was done, and they were willing to sacrifice looks, so the less beautiful woman for peace, for home. So what are we going out and seeking as women? What are we settling for? You know, when we say we're settling, what do we want? Do we even know?
Let's first figure out what makes you different. Start there.
yo, that's very far already.
What would you say makes, never mind, you're the terrible example to ask that question.
Yes.
You're the worst human
Yes,
being to
indeed.
ask that question.
You can't ask me what I think makes you different because
No, I was going to say, like from a male perspective, and let's not use you, right? Because you're going to, so if I had to ask a general man, a normal man, that question, what could be defining factors that he could say that make him so unique?
That's a very good question. You must understand, I'll start again because I think you missed this. There are few good men.
Okay.
So
that's already one. Okay.
Exactly. There's a few of them.
Oh,
There's a few educated good men.
pin just
There's
dropped.
a few men that are good and they're built the way you like them. There's a few good men with things in them. It's already they just gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. So yeah.
Okay, so for me, I would say if you seek a king, for me as a woman, you know, queen, be queen. And that means submission, it means respect first for yourself.
It doesn't sound like that.
What?
The minute you say queen, it means serve me.
Oh, no, so let me explain. So my mentality when it comes to king and queen is not just serve me. I mean, if you have enough money to pay for that, cool, and that's what you want. No, it's a mentality. So kings and queens run kingdoms. You know, men go out to fight and then, you know, wife is there or queen is there and she now needs to think about the greater good. She can't just be thinking about herself. So, I mean, selfishness isn't something you would be talking about when eligible spouses concerned, and that goes without saying. So for me, queening doesn't mean selfishness and oh look at me. It's a selfless mindset, which is important.
But I don't think we're putting that across. As
I
Ryan,
agree.
as
We
Ryan
need to
had
work
said,
harder to do that.
as Ryan had said that we need to teach that to our girls.
I agree.
The minute you say to the generation of today, be queen, you're literally telling her, you need to buy you bags, you need to be seen on Instagram, opening all those Louis Vuitton bags, manicure, jet, champagne. That is queening today. That is queening.
And also because of the concept you all have when you're saying king, you know, every man wants to be treated like a king, regardless of how much he has, where he is, what he is.
And he should be.
Every man, yeah. But you also should act like one.
Agreed.
You know,
Agreed. You know,
Like a queen.
like a king.
like
Also act like one.
yeah, no, I agree.
It makes sense.
It goes back, you know, I mentioned this earlier. When we're talking about our expectations as women, as human beings, well, I'm going to just talk about women specifically. Be able to unpack, okay, and it doesn't have to be an apple for an apple. I think that's a mistake we make. You know, previously if you'd asked me what's my worth, I would have been like, well, you know what, I have 12 years experience in this and I've done that, and then he's
I'll
going,
give you a CV.
yeah,
That doesn't matter to
I
you.
give him my CV, and then he's like, okay, that's all cool, and it's on a human level, that's impressive regardless. But now talking about me and you know, what is important here? What are you bringing here? I'll be like, yo, the least I can do is try and make your life a little easier. I shouldn't be trying to make it harder, but I should be trying to.
But I want to ask you
Do
this.
that unintentionally.
But I want to ask you, ladies, why is that question so difficult for you to answer? What? I won't say what you bring to the table. What difference will you make in a man's life that she wouldn't make? Okay, let's say even if she would make the same difference, because there's 100 women that make the same difference as you, but you can't even articulate it, and there's 100 women that could make a difference.
So I can answer, but it's very subjective, and it's not to disagree with you though.
No, you may answer.
Okay, so one of the queen qualities that I believe is that I can't compare myself to another woman, right? Because
No, but I'm comparing.
I hear you, but can I finish my point?
Okay.
So, i.e., this enables me to appreciate. I'm speaking subjectively, so from my perspective, this enables me to celebrate other women. I.e., queens see queens. Awesome. So, if I am a man and there's a woman that has different qualities, that okay. If there's something different and you can contribute towards the overall household, maybe that's my differentiating factor. I'll be like, okay, go marry her too.
That's something.
Yeah,
that is something.
that
That
is.
is something.
It is, because I mean,
Because
it's
that is rare.
okay.
You understand? That is a rare thing.
You okay?
That is something. You know what I'm saying? And you have that is something different. And I'm not saying not all men want that, but that is something different. But something you said earlier on about, in the sentence you said, this is what when you start thinking about all the things that you see different, I was talking about what's different for him. What's different for him? The one thing you
Thank
said
you
is
for the
different for him is the
correction.
last thing.
Okay. I
Everything
hear
else
you.
was about you. This is the problem you guys have.
Do you see it?
I see it. I see it. We tend to make everything about ourselves.
You can't even answer a question about what a man needs without speaking about what you want. That's sad. Tusk, tusk, tusk.
Yeah, no, we're not pissing anybody off.
We're not.
No, we're fine. So, okay.
So what you're gonna do? Just tell me. Let's say if you had to draw up a game plan, and you're talking to your little sister now. What's the? If you had to tell her 4 things, what would be the 4 things?
I would say what you should do, or what are you asking me? 4 things what?
4 things. If you had to, 4 things are like 4 tools you'll give her to go into this life of being involved with the opposite sex, being involved with a man.
I would have said peace first, but you corrected me. So I want to start with respect, and I want to tell her that means starting with respecting herself and valuing herself. I think that's what Mama meant when she said, don't make yourself stale. It's not about making the man's life difficult or making him a bigger. It's going, value yourself to understand what you are pursuing, what you're giving, and what you're receiving. Value yourself to go, I am this. Hey, I want to help you with that. That's being helpful. That's contributing to a home.
Say so.
Respect.
Wow.
Respect. Secondly, peace. You should try to be agreeable. Now, I know both of you are going to look at me funny. Just hold on. And anybody who knows me will go, but Zakia, you're not agreeable. And I want to say that, one, you know what? Yeah. So, one, I'm not trying to disagree. I have a standpoint. I have opinions. However, if I'm having a conversation, I try to surround myself with people that are smarter than me. And if there's a different stance, I'm listening because I want to understand and I want to elevate. And so I want to learn.
Are you talking about yourself again?
So I'm saying myself and I'm referring to myself as a woman. So when we're talking about being agreeable, I'm giving you my understanding and my perspective.
What are we talking about being agreeable?
I think that it's a part of
And
peace.
you're talking about it from your perspective.
So I'm breaking down what peace is. That's the second quality.
Just
One
start again and leave yourself out of it.
Okay, respect, peace, which includes being agreeable.
Yeah.
The reason I did that, I was waiting for you all to interject, is like, Zaki, you know you can argue. And I was giving a little bit of context.
No, just leave yourself
I would
out.
say comfort. Comfort in that women, we should be wanting to make our homes comfortable, making your life easier, and in turn contributing to the entire home in its, and where we're going to. I would say, you said 4. So, happiness. Maybe the last one I would say, you should try to be happy. You shouldn't try to be miserable. As you hear the car coming down the drive, oh, there's this man. No, man, try and be happy. Try and be happy so that there'll be happiness. So those are the...
What do you think?
What I would teach my little sister.
She's going now, she's getting married. It's a wedding day. It's the last chat before she goes out.
First thing I would tell her is something that Dad taught me, but somehow I didn't.
Once again, Dad.
Yes. Somehow I didn't realize it until I grew up. Just because, he used to say this, just because there's a 2 liter of Coke in the fridge, it doesn't mean I will not get thirsty outside. I might just buy a buddy or a can and throw it outside. Make sure that my 2 liter doesn't find the can in the car. For me, it troubled me a lot until I realized that he was literally telling me, just because he married you, he didn't stop being a man. Remember that. That's a lesson women really need to learn, because we go up in arms the minute.
Right, but it's such as irons get you, but it's so stacked that you have to, you have to sit with that, because it takes a while. Yeah?
It takes a while. 2, respect yourself. When I say respect yourself, the only way you are able to respect another human being is by first respecting yourself. Your husband will, yes, marriage, you said marriage. Your husband will learn how to treat you through you. He doesn't have to be told. He will look at your actions and he will react. For example, if, let's say you're happy, you're really happy at home, you're a husband. For no reason, when you pass by the shop, you would just, oh, okay, let me grab that chocolate for you, flowers, already, because you are in that mentality. So, respect yourself, yes, and be happy.
If you had to ask me what I would tell my daughter. I would say to her, try to make sure no one treats your husband better than you do. I would say try to make sure no one respects him more than you do. I would say try to make sure that he doesn't feel love from anyone else more than you. And I would tell him, the fourth one I would say, is try to make sure that he sees you as a good mother to his children, whether you have kids or not. And there's a man there, there's men there. So how generic your work?
Very generic.
Well, you finished your point, right?
Mm.
And there's not one girl out here that I know for myself that says that they wouldn't expect these simple things, right? If you ask and you reverse the roles. So again, reciprocation. This is what you should also make sure. Don't expect something without at least giving it.
And the sadness
Yeah.
about it is, like I always say this, and it's something I've learned recently, that women, when you're not married, you sleep with who you want. Men marry who they want.
Come again?
Women sleep with who the women run the sex industry. I dare use that as a word. But women run the sex world. They decide who they sleep with. They decide who has sex and who doesn't. Men decide who gets married.
Yeah.
Ha.
Yeah.
So while you guys are thinking you're the prize,
And
you must do
decision-making.
something to make sure that a man decides to marry you.
To see.
You what? That's what I'm saying.
But not without risking being the needy, greedy baby. Because when now you're doing extra, now you're going to start feeling like you like that. Wah, wah, look at me.
Just understand which things go on scale. So while this can be very converted, it's easily converted to male or female in terms of what you expect. Remember that the things or the acts of love and the acts of devotion are not the same. You know, like you said, if you do something for your husband, or you pride yourself, dare I say, on cooking a really big meal in the middle of the week, like, oh girl, he's making you like a slave. You was at work the whole day. I said, yeah, but so is he.
Yeah, but you're right. The acts of love are not the same. We are willing to die for you. What are you willing to do?
Well, isn't that subjective?
No,
We've
that's
done-
we're talking about. Look at it generally. When you marry a man, you're not saying you're willing to die for him. When we marry you, that is a prerequisite.
Suppose they would fall under the protector. Right?
That is no. Listen, I don't want to sugarcoat it.
Okay.
I don't want you to try to water it down, because this is some serious stuff.
Okay. Well,
When we decide to marry you, we make up our mind that that's what we're willing to do. This is generally means most times.
okay.
And generally, you will not marry me if I'm not willing to do that. And you? What's your coming
Would
with?
I die for you?
No, what you're coming? I'm coming with my life. What you coming with? What you offering?
Most times, most women wouldn't just jump on and
I-
they're like, oh no, I'm gonna go find a.
No, I'm not even saying that you should sacrifice your life. I'm not saying that you should.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, look at what we offer.
Okay, I'm gonna be the mother of your children. If I had to show.
Not every man will die for you, but almost any woman can be the mother of my children.
I want to be a good
Oh.
mother to your children in terms of
But
nurturing.
that's
Hold on, hear me out. What I think is the right answer is going back to your innate roles, nurturing and teaching, right? If you're going to be talking about it, why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing.
Something's happening here.
I'll carry on.
No, here's the thing, Rani. We expect you to protect and provide. That's why you're willing to give your life, right? Let's say, okay, it's not my innate instinct to want to give my life, but I'm going to be like, and I should be able to say this, is one, I'm going to be a good mom, and this is why.
No, if
I'm
you
able
just
to-
said you'd be just a good wife, it'll be good enough.
I'll
That'll
be a
be
good
good
wife.
enough. I'll be a good wife too. That'll be good enough.
So all
You
you
know,
want.
you start talking about children, we get divorced, you can carry on with my children. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm still going to be the mother of your children.
No,
whether
but
get
we don't know
divorced or
whether
not.
you'll be a good mother. That's relative. And just like you can say, we don't know whether a man will. But the
Okay.
prerequisite, when a man marries a woman, he doesn't necessarily think of whether she should be a good mother to his children. That's something, he should.
Okay.
But doesn't necessarily think of, generally, we're very basic, generally. We're very basic. That is something that we subconsciously see in you. You see, okay. And how we see that you're going to be a good mother to our children is how you treat us. Now, if you not treating us right, subconsciously we realize this is not going to be a good mother to my children.
You just agreed that you guys are big babies.
I'm not disagreeing about that. I can't disagree about that. You know, we do get we do because we need to.
Man flu.
No, no. Listen. We need to listen to all the things I've asked for.
It's
I
exactly
asked for, yes, look at all the things I asked for. I said, every now and again we want to go, shit, man. You know, just, you must have me. You know, you got me. You know,
Yeah.
that's what we want. And we see, how am I going to see you're going to be a good mother if you're terrible to me? That's a sign.
I mean, any spouse, even if you take away the gender roles, if a spouse is being terrible to you, why should you stay?
But look, guys, like I said, and I know this is just it's relatively subjective, but generally, when a man commits to a woman, there's an unwritten contract. You expect him to be willing to die for you. And he subconsciously knows that he's willing to do that. That's why he took on the responsibility of giving you his name and committing his life to you. You all now have to start thinking of what you're going to do to measure up to that.
Why, hold on, so are we measuring up now? Because now you said, we spoke earlier, we said it's not equality, right?
Yeah, but
Okay.
what could you all do?
We
with that?
agreed for, in terms of reciprocation, and that they would look different.
Yeah.
Now you're asking me to put things on that playing field, because every time I do try to go, okay, but this is packed here, you're not accepting, so what's the right answer?
No, I don't know. But I know this, wait, I know this, sorry. I know this, that this is what you expect. Because if you don't expect that, you wouldn't marry me. You expect that, so you see that in me. Do you understand?
Okay, so I wanna,
But who's to say that we are not willing to die for you?
No, I'm not saying you're not. I'm not saying you're not.
that's
But
a
it's
nice-
not,
that's
I don't
what I'm
expect
trying
you to.
not-
Oh,
So it's not a requirement, that's a nice to have.
I don't expect
it's
you
just
to.
a cherry on
I don't,
top.
but you expect me to willing to die for you. You expect that. That's the unwritten law.
That's why I said it falls under the protection, like your basic.
Yes. No, but you're not just talking about protecting. Dying.
Oh, let me explain. So this is why, so this is my perspective. This is why when I was raised this way, I was raised by very old people, so I have old school values. My ex-husband told me that I'm aging in dog years. But I try to be respectful to a man, because if somebody barges in, like you said, I expect him to stand there, and that is him putting his life on the line. So you're right.
And you're not sad. Almost any man will do that for almost any woman.
Yes. But that's why.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's what we do, and this is the thanks we get.
No,
This is the
we
thanks
should
we
be
get
more
from Lord.
respectful. That is true. I agree.
Almost any man would do that for you. And this is the thanks we get.
I think we come in with the notion that, okay, he's a protector. I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll make sure he's.
And you know, at least you're thinking that this woman is saying, hey, you know, no, I'm not doing that. You know how many women are saying they're not going to do that? Do you know how many women are saying, why should I? And how many guys that are simping, that are like, hey, okay, you know, hey, because it's sad.
Okay, so devil's advocate in your favor now. Well, not in your favor. So I was watching.
It's never in my favor.
So I was watching one of these podcasts, and this guy broke it down. So this girl was breaking it down. She was on some, listen, I make your house a home, you know, all the things, I make your life easier. And then he was like, listen, for $100 a week, I get the Whole Foods delivered, I get X, and I can pay for all of those things. So you just, you know, highlighted something that, you know, under nurturing and teaching that we deem valuable. Do men see that as valuable?
You know, it's a very good, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, it's weird about a lot of women. When they put to the crunch, they bring all those things forward. When we question you, then you bring it forward. But in general, they don't want to bring that forward. They don't start with that. So they say, don't expect that of me. They usually say that, don't expect that of me. But when we put them to the crunch and say, what do you got? They go to all the so-called feminine things. I have to use that. They go to all that.
Why is it so cool?
Because we want to trigger feminine. We don't want to trigger the feminist here. So I say so-called. So I say so-called feminist things. So when we ask them in the beginning, hey, so what's up with me and you and that? They're not saying, You know, if you guys led a conversation with, hey, hi, okay, hey, you're a nice fat ass, yeah, and I'm a good cook, you know, and I clean well, and you know, we'd say, hey,
Come cook
okay.
for me.
Yeah.
We go, hey.
Yeah,
But
okay.
you don't do that. You don't do that. You know, when you're looking at a guy being taller and muscular, you're looking, okay, at the physical attributes of a protector. Okay, so when we see the butt and everything, okay, you know, procreation, we think of the physical.
Procreation, yeah.
Yeah, procreation, yeah. But then the next thing you should say is nurturing. When do you lead with that?
Worst thing that could happen is if I can cook dal and I'll eat for the whole month, and then the person was like, it was a guy, and he's like, so can you cook dal? And I was like, I was offended. I said, of course I can. So I didn't know that you want us to lead with that. I didn't know I was being impressive. Oh.
You lead, if you lead with that, I promise you, it's a completely different conversation. I'm speaking for men. If you lead with that, listen, okay, because we already see aesthetically what we want to see.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of talking the talk, so you feel him, and you know, I'm not just a fan. If you don't know, I can whip up a good chicken neck. Let me tell you, neck bones. I'll cook a good neck bone stew. I'm like, oh, you down neck bones? Yeah, and see with the pup. Yeah. The conversation changes. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you, don't worry when you go in, and also listen, these are all the good. Once you start talking like that, I'm seeing what you bring to me. But you guys say that lost. You'll only say that when we challenge you. Because you'll go to the thing that you'll try to distance yourself, and I'm talking generally, try to distance yourself from the most, which we are actually looking for.
You just made me realize why I got married and how I got this marriage.
Tell us.
So, okay, I stood him up on the first date. Then we had a second date. Then he said, okay, let's go to the movies, let's go to Masquerade. And I was like, okay, it's in the middle of the month. Why are we going to the movies? No, I want to take you out. I said, how much do you have right now? And he opened his wallet, there was like 200 rand. He's like, okay, we take this 100 rand, we put it right here. We're taking this one, we're spending this one. We went to hire movies. I said, let's hire movies. We went to get liver, bread, and koi. Then I said, let's have our date right here in your place. We'll fry, eat bread, drink koi, watch movies. Done.
You know,
So
man sees there, okay.
So I asked him years later. I was like, why did you marry me? He said, because
Of that day.
of the day.
Of that day.
That's the day I decided, oh, okay, she even left me money to go to work for the whole week.
She cares. She actually asked. She cares.
You see what I'm saying? Lead with that. You know other things that women don't lead with? And I come from a culture and a society where violence is celebrated. So a lot of times the girl is like, come here, let me show you what he said to me. This guy, he said that thing. He said this to me. And then you get the other woman who goes, don't do that. Come sit here, baby. It's okay. Don't worry about them. And that's another thing.
Yeah.
That's another thing that we go, okay. Others, no, me and him, we going to come. You get that. And then you get, I heard this from a woman one day, that the right woman in the deepest of rages will put her hand on you and you'll just, okay. You'll hear a voice in the middle of everything and she goes, Ryan, stop it. You have to have that. Now, you guys, a woman lead with their booty.
If you got it, fly.
Woman lead with the booty. You know, I'm a big follower of someone on a blogger, a big follower of him. And I don't agree with everything he says. Recently, I saw a thing where he said men should stop leading with their penis and lead with their wallet. He said that, yeah. Now, if the reason I disagree with it is if you lead with your wallet, you'll attract those that are attracted to your wallet. Do you understand? And when the wallet's empty,
they're gone.
No, I'm not necessarily lead with your shebang. You know what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily lead with your shebang. But one thing about men, or the right kind of man, is you feel him from far. You can feel him. There can be 20 men standing in a group, and I've heard this from a woman before, and she could zone in on the one. He'd stand out. 20 of them, and he'd stand out from far. So there was no wallet there. She doesn't know what car he drives. When I step into a club scenario or wherever, you don't know what car I'm driving. You don't know what I do for a living. You don't know what's in my wallet. So when the man says lead with your wallet, you see, when that guy, you said no. If he was leading with his wallet, he was going to have to go draw more.
Then you're looking for something else. You're not necessarily looking for, if I may be so
yes,
bold as to say,
and then you really said, no, it's not about that. You know what I'm saying? It was everything else but that. And this is what happens with that kind of thinking of leading with the wallet. And it happens because a lot of men now are tricking, and they're sugar babies, and they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then you get a guy coming along. This guy's spending blocks on this woman, and the guy comes along with his penis, and she smashes him. Nothing else. This guy was leading his wallet. This guy's leading his penis.
Of course,
It's you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's a very thin. Me, I don't agree with leading the penis or the wallets. I don't agree with that.
What should men lead? What should young men lead with?
Okay, I do the whole king thing.
Yes. I concur.
You know, the last thing I'm going to talk about is how much money I have. And that's like the last thing women should talk about is how the sex they can give you. Because women nowadays are leading with their body. You know what I'm saying? And the men are leading the wallets, and that's the last thing I'm talking about, is how much money I have. Because I'm trying to see, imagine I start with you, and I know women that say this, guys come and say, hey, listen, I own so-and-so, and I got this car, and I got this car. The women go, hey, what the hell? Women go, but it's funny, because they want to know how much you earn. But when the guy says it, you've got a problem with it.
Because I want to know you, like all of
There we go. That's the point.
Yeah.
You lead with who you are.
I don't care about your money. I care about
You see, we have to establish that.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
You see, we'll have to establish that now.
Let's put that in a box. So basically, when we're talking about looking for a spouse, later on in the dates when you're serious, you should be having a finance conversation to figure out where you are. So
I know, but we're talking about leading with it.
Yeah, got you. So that's Zama goes somewhere. It's just not a lead. Yeah, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, but like I was saying, you know, it matters.
Yeah.
Because if you found out in the second date that he's not financially viable for you, every other good quality of his you might put on the back burner. So what exactly actually really matters to you? You know?
What matters to you?
I really think you just made it clear that it's an individual thing. So we should stop generalizing ourselves.
Look, we have to generalize. We have to generalize because generally means most of the time. Generally, women are attracted to the wallet and the penis in that order. The wallet and the penis, not the penis and the wallet. Generally. So unfortunately, a lot of men start with that. But there's men that don't. There's men that talk, what's sapiosexual, what you talk about? There's women that are sapiosexual.
Yes, the intelligence, attracted to intelligence.
And still aesthetic wins over everything. When you see him, you go,
You eat with the eyes first. And that's something both ways. Men and women, we should look after ourselves. We should be trying to be healthy. We should
Definitely.
be
As
trying to
women,
look
we
good.
eat with our eyes.
Yeah.
and because you're a woman and it's hard for you all to say, when the guy's being fast, it's hard for you all to say that. You're allowed to go, unless you're amongst girls, but you can't openly go, When you'll outnumber him, you can do that. When you'll outnumber a guy, you'll do that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
things we would do to you.
You guys,
You get brave. Yeah.
you guys have that thing, and then the guy talks, and there's just no intelligence. There's just no.
It's so
And then-
disappointing.
But when he turns around and says, and you're doing it, and he goes, hey ladies, hope you guys are having a nice day. Let me know if you need anything. And he walks out. Oh.
Well, it's just the scarcity model we're playing with here.
That's what I was saying from the beginning.
The scarcity
The numbers
model.
are so limited.
Know your place and know your worth also.
Because let me tell you, you can only get the woman that wants you.
So that's an important
I'm
lesson.
saying a man can only get the woman that wants him.
No, but that's an important lesson because I don't think anybody's saying it to young men. You know, we're telling him and we're putting him under so much pressure that he needs to be a protector and a provider. And depending on which culture you're from, you're also in the back of your mind, not just thinking about your home. You might have some sisters, you know, we all pay black tax, your mama. That means this young man is in university, for argument's sake. And before he's even had a chance to live his university life, he's now thinking about, oh my God, my dad is, you know, ready to retire. What am I going to do that's now going to take care of this? That's why, you know, we said men have it harder. That's what they have to be thinking about, and that's worth something.
Once again, I said, men can only get who wants them.
Men can only get who wants them.
So
Men
there's,
can only get a woman that wants him.
so there's nothing. For me, I just thought you just hunt me down until I'm tired and I surrender.
Yeah, but at one point,
That's so unfair.
you get to a point
Yeah.
where you want him.
Yes, because of your energy, you keep chasing. I'm like, oh, we still behind
Nah,
me. He's
let
running.
me tell you, Zam. Let's be fair. Let's be fair, Zam. When you guys see a man, there's three establishments you make. One, you establish whether you would, whether you should. You know what I'm saying? Whether you would, whether you could, whether you would, whether you should. Sometimes you say, I could never. He can be who? I will never. And then this guy said, I could. Should I?
And why should you?
You know what I'm saying? That's what you'll do as women.
Yeah.
Us,
That is true.
we see what we can't see.
One day, my husband.
Oh, I said that out loud.
The points I'm making is, us as men can only get the woman that wants us.
So what is it that we want? We circle back, we came all the way back.
What is it that we want?
What is it that we want?
I don't think we know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it then.
What you're going to teach those little ones?
I don't. Ah.
You don't know. What you're going to teach them?
I don't think we know. And this is going to go back to the very first story Zakia said I should tell. Why it's going to go back to that, it's going to make you understand that I don't think we know. When I met my husband, he asked for my number. We were at the taxi rank, and I really didn't pay that attention. He was already wearing all Nike, you know. First thing you think is going to rob me. Then you talk to me. Then he talked to me while I'm in the line. And this line is a taxi line. So there's elders, there's my church people, there's my grandfather's a priest. So I'm like, ooh, I'm talking to this Toti guy and people are. So I was like, I'll just give you my number to go. Just go.
Don't even talk. You could have given him the wrong number. You could have given him the wrong number.
Wait, before
That's a valid point. I never checked you on that in the store. Okay.
I said, I'm just going to give you a number and you go. And he said, okay. He took out the number. He dialed it. He said the number
Slick.
is wrong.
Okay. Oh, you gave him the wrong number first.
Yes.
Okay, respect.
Then I put the right one, then he dialed it, then he rang.
He went.
He went. Then he called me, set up a date, then I stood him up for the date. 3 days later, I saw him walking with another girl.
Ha!
I saw him walking with another girl. I was from school. I didn't even greet. I just went straight in front of them. I said, hey, how are you? I didn't even look at her. And he was like, yeah, and I said, why didn't you call me? He just said, I thought you weren't interested. I said, I am. That's what I said. He said, okay, if you are interested, then I'll meet you at this spot tomorrow at 4. Then he walked away. I was like, okay.
Power wasn't easy.
Okay. Went to school. I was locking up the next day. So lockup is at 4. I had to meet him at 4. I was chasing people at 8:30, like, leave. Check my watch, it's 5 to 4. I had to tell a friend of mine who was riding a bike, not vroom. I have to be there at 4. I rode there like a horse on a chariot, like, I'm here.
On a old bicycle. Aww.
And then from that day, we were never separated.
Well, see, we got to a point where you wanted him. Men can only get who wants them.
But it's so important because I think he was a man, because that's a similar thing to the club scenario you gave us, where he saw something he liked, he pursued, because men are hunters,
Yes.
and then when she didn't reciprocate,
He moved on.
he moved on. He listened to her. He was like, okay, cool. No, you're a prize. You know you're the prize. Yes. Men need to
Are the
learn
prize.
this.
Men is a prize.
I didn't realize that he knew he was a prize of this marriage.
No, a lot of guys actually don't know until I start telling them. Until we start telling them. And you'll see a whole different dynamic. Imagine he realized it because it happened to him and you made it obvious. But a lot of guys don't know that. They
He's
don't.
right. I'm sorry, I've been interjecting.
Yeah, we've been waiting.
I haven't said anything because I've just been listening. This has been really dope. I'm not gonna.
Did you say I'm right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, a lot of guys don't know. A lot of guys don't know that they are there. And as soon as guys start knowing, the dynamic will change. And there'll be a shift in everything. And then women will understand their place. Okay, I'm going to say something that's rather controversial now.
Yeah, nothing we've said so far has been controversial at all.
If we crash in an island and there's 10 men and 50 women, and of the 10 men, 3 are homosexual, 2 are old, 1 is very young, and 2 are viable. That's your odds. That's the odds you guys have.
In reality.
In reality. Now
And
what?
we didn't know that.
That's the odds. Think about it. That's okay. I'm giving you. I've exaggerated the homosexuality, but we're dealing with that young, old homosexual. One is
basically,
prisoner.
yes.
You're dealing with 1 or 2 out of 10 good men that are just eligible, and I'm not necessarily good. And there's 50 of you.
You just made me realize that it's either we sit down and say, girls, 25 for him and 25 for him.
That
you
would be the
understand?
logical. That would be the
But now
logical.
imagine from that 50, he chooses you, and you cheat him anyhow.
He doesn't need to put up with it.
That is what you guys need to realize.
He doesn't need
Oh,
to
he
put up with
doesn't go anytime.
it. And therefore you should value your husband.
And I just use 10 as an example.
And,
Oh.
I'm going to sound like a little bit of a broken record. And I know we're speaking, and checking ourselves here, but nothing we're saying, girls will say they don't want. We're saying, okay, girls, as we should make, yeah. So again, they're not asking.
No, because the men messed up the game. Because men messed up the game.
Did they?
Yeah, they okay, this is personal now. A lot of people will say, the way he thinks a lot of himself. Do you know why? Because I know. They know I know. They know he knows. Do you understand? They know he knows. That's why they think that. And that's why I do. I know that there's not many like me. I know that. Now, you see, like y'all can't say that as women, and I hate to say this, we're going to go back to that, where y'all couldn't actually say how you'll stand out. Now, I know there's not many like me. Even if there's 1 million, that's not a lot. Do you understand? Compared to the woman. So, men messed up the game because girls, we had to do the pursuing thing, and we have to, and then we have to try to get them and
Woo me.
yes, and I'm not saying that it must be the other way around because you should. But this
We're
is
not.
I come present. I present. This is what I want to do. That's sadly like a job interview. I come present. You check if I'm qualified. I check if you qualify.
But that makes sense.
But guys have messed it up. They made women the prize. In that island that we're talking about, how you all will be fighting amongst yourself, killing each other.
I've led a team, and then if there's majority females on it, I'd literally
Never
be like,
works.
God,
No,
please.
listen, guys. No, let's call it what it is. If
Yeah.
it came down, because females are way more carnal than men, way more carnal, higher sex drive, higher sexual desires, higher need to be acknowledged, bigger need to be acknowledged and attention paid. And there's only 2 men that can give you attention, and there's 50 of you. What would you do?
So everybody gonna be on their best behavior.
And you think about it. There's only 2 men, and there's 50 of you. You all know the one who treats me the best will get the most attention. You know that.
Everybody gonna be on their best behavior.
But you see, the men in today's world, they don't realize that there is a few of them, and you guys should be on your best behavior.
Oh.
Sorry.
You know what? That's just fair. I know that people are going to be maybe triggered by this, but I sound like a broken record. It's fair. Because I have brothers, right? And when I'm talking to them and the qualities that you should look for, yes, I do teach them lessons, practical lessons, because I hope that they will go and live on their own and they should know how to do that. However, similarly, my brother's an athlete, and when he was in camp, he got a big chunk of my attention that went into his nutrition, into his recuperation. How can I help you? How can I help you? And that's something that he would expect from his partner one day, because we teach what, you should look for. I would hope. And I hope he values himself and looks for the right things.
Hey, you still teach men.
What to look for. So I'm not attacking men. I'm saying, I'm trying to compliment what you're saying.
Teach women what to be.
But you were saying that men messed up the game.
Yeah, I'll deal with that.
And to start now, okay. And remember, we started this with saying we need to teach our girls. Okay, cool. And each other as sisters. Hey, that's something that.
But ladies, I won't lie. You guys, to teach, you must have a curriculum. Drop the curriculum and figure it out. Seriously, what guys are going through in the world, it's serious abuse, man.
Yeah.
Men are being seriously abused.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about, we talk about GBV, gender-based violence, and that swings both ways. I used to say to my ex-wife at one point, I used to say, you know what, when people talk about women's rights, I say, but these are human rights. These are the rights of anybody. No one wants to be beaten up. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying that it's not prevalent to women. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that a lot of men can't even speak on it.
Yes, so that's what I would say. So with regards to gender-based violence, it's just, we shouldn't be hitting each other. And people will come back with the statistics that show that this amount of women are beaten. Now, first and foremost, that should never be the case. We should protect women and nobody should be hitting anybody. But
because they're the weakest
statistics, yes, they're the weakest sex.
Yes.
Like we said, the traditional roles,
Yes.
protect and provide, and so on and so forth. But I'm sorry, what are the statistics of men being abused in, so let's call it domestic violence, right?
Okay.
Where are the statistics of
men.
the men being abused? If a man goes, how is a man supposed to go somewhere and say he got beat up?
But ladies, and I know we digress a little bit, so I don't want to touch too long on this because
Okay.
it's a whole nother show. But I'm going to say this.
That's another show, so I can write it down.
Don't worry. But that's a whole other topic. But I want to say this as far as abuse is concerned. Both of you have to think about 10 women that were physically abused that you know. I'm just saying that you know. That you know. You have to think about 10.
How will we know one?
You see, I'm just saying you have to think about 10. Listen, that you're physically abused. But I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
I agree.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but you have to think about 10 women. But you can't think of any man who was not verbally or emotionally abused by a woman. You can't think of him.
It's easier to come up with that very quickly.
Like that?
And
You know, before
I'm never speechless.
He's awesome. That's
before
true.
you,
He
before
can
you
talk
go
as
there,
bad.
I mean, before we wrap up that part because it's digressing. It brings out the fact that this year my son was starting high school, and I had to sit down with him and explain things. I said to him, you cannot be calling girls in a certain way, you cannot be touching them in a certain way, and you cannot be saying things that you say your sister, like, ooh, your boobies are growing.
Exactly.
You can't say those things. And he said, okay, that's inappropriate. So what happened if a girl likes me? And I said, well, this is the reality of it. She will like you, she will touch you inappropriate, you will get an erection, and you will be in trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's like, but I didn't touch myself. And I said, that's not the point here. The point is, she'll
Sadly.
touch you,
Yeah.
you'll be happy, and you'll be in trouble.
Very deep.
Yeah.
Just to touch on that, as you said before we wrap up, just to touch on that. See that advice you gave him about you can't touch a girl like this, you can't do this, you can't do this. Does that not apply to another boy as well? You see what I mean? You see what I mean? The same thing applies. He can't go touch and talk to a boy anyhow he wants. This applies. The same thing applies. You see what I mean?
Already.
But we just disregard the fact that he's saying it
boys.
to a boy. I don't want no man come touch me. I don't want no man talking to me anyhow. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe we shouldn't start separating them because now the world has become the way it is.
No, you're right, but the points I'm making is how universal the issue actually is. But moving back to what we were saying. So ladies, you guys, you'll need to bring feminism back. Not feminism, femininity.
Oh, okay.
Femininity back. Bring femininity back. Bring nurturing back. Bring that, you know they say we're bringing sexy back, that song. Bring nurturing back. Let's start preparing women to be, our daughters to be wives. And not girlfriends. And not squeezers and not sugar babies. Let's prepare them to be wives. We teach our children to be sugar babies. We teach them, how much you got? Who's that? What's his name?
Hey, and how? You know what? When that would be the first thing, okay, what car does he drive? Then suddenly he looked a little bit better. You know, that was what, okay, what about if he's gonna be a good dad? Like, don't you want to know that? Like,
No, it was all about what he's driving. If he drives, like when you're in high school and he's already driving, he looks a bit better.
Yes.
If he's driving a Vrupad, then
But like I said, there's such circumstances that you're going to walk into where you wouldn't know what the person's driving. And I love those scenarios.
yeah,
I love those scenarios because then we'll see who's who.
yeah.
We're not high school girls now where you're looking at guys' cars. We're in office or restaurant, board, wherever. You know, the guy walks up to you at the spa. I shouldn't have said spa, but anyway, the guy walks up to you at the convenience store and he starts talking to you. All that matters is that 15 seconds, the first 15 seconds.
Okay, can I just say how much we as females appreciate good game? Thank you to men who make an effort. Thank you so much because you're right. You have 15 seconds and you have to be so sharp, right? I've always said, I'm so grateful I'm not a guy because I can't imagine having to keep going and I'm hunting. I'm the one that could be rejected. I've always been nice to a human. Like a guy approaches me like, I don't need to be answered. Oh, why are you talking to me? There's just no need for that. You know, but thank you for your 15 seconds.
But you know, the flip side of the coin is like I've had an experience where a woman was like hollered at me. You know, I mean not one, I've had quite a few, but I'm just saying I deal with that. Like, you know, woman, and this is what I say to young men, get to the point where that can happen. Get to the point where that can happen.
Similarly, to
But
girls.
there's no respect to that woman, whoever did that, because you know what she said? She looked, she thought, okay, this guy deserves more of my attention. Let me get his, and so forth and so on. Hey, we appreciate that.
Girls, don't be afraid. No, well, this is the thing. maybe it's me being older,
Girls
but
don't
if
get
you
married.
had asked me in my 20s if I would approach a guy, I would have said I would rather cook rice one grain at a time. But in my 30s, I would have never. But in my 30s, because I know what I want and I am looking for a husband, I'll shoot my shot. Respectfully, because I know how to step without disrespecting myself, I'll shoot my shot.
Oh.
I don't know. I will think of it in a moment, but I'm gonna try.
No,
my best.
let's just try the scenario, right? Let's just flip the script and show you how hard it is to be a man. I'm
Okay.
standing there and you see me and I'm your type. What you do? And I do this. Right?
I see.
I'm gone.
This is what we go through. This is what we go through.
Yes, I'm sorry. You did what?
This is what we go through. Now, as a
I
man,
said, hi, you do.
I go this. Hi.
Yeah, I know.
Wait. Now, that happens to us.
No, I'm afraid I don't know what to say.
This is what we as boys, as males,
Men, yes.
go through
No, sorry.
every day.
Oh,
Now wait, and even if she likes you, she still does the once over. Yes?
No, you don't know.
Okay, but her body language be a little bit because if she's feeling you, you know she answers.
You guys are weird now, so it's kind of different. But anyway, let's say now what's the next move? Okay, let me change it.
Okay.
You say hi, say hi.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know how to go on.
What you do?
I'm
Start.
shy.
Just try.
I'm shy.
No,
Okay.
try. Let's try. Roll the bus. What would you do? Go.
So okay, I don't.
I'm standing there. This is me. I'm at the sitting alone. I was sitting with my boys, me and a couple of guys, and you woke up.
I would actually tell you that I'm extremely shy, but I found you really attractive, and I'd like to get to know you.
So, oh, thanks. Hi. Okay. No? What do you want to know?
Can I have your number?
Let me take yours rather.
Okay.
Oh, he's not going to go.
Okay.
So that's what you would say. You said what you would say. You didn't say it.
What do you mean?
I want you to say it to me. I want you to see how difficult this is.
It's difficult, and I was married to you. This is really weird. I don't understand what's happening.
The whole game and the whole game. But anyway, carry on.
And we'll edit that out.
So what would you say?
We
What you say?
can.
You woke up to me.
Oh, this is in the latest, the last.
You woke up to me, right? You greet,
Hi.
and I'm talking.
Okay, I will introduce myself. Hello, my name is Zakia.
Just to me.
Yeah.
I'm standing with the boys.
Oh, yo. Okay, but hold on. That's subjective because coming up to you all, it's a normal people or you
don't
all?
be subject. I'm a guy standing. See, I'm a guy standing with my guys.
Oh,
And you
just
like
made
me.
it even
No,
harder.
that's even worse.
Yes.
Now I'll be like, hey.
Now, however hard you think it is, it's 100 times worse for a guy.
Oh,
But you know
I
what?
thought it just came
You
naturally.
know the
You
difference
know
is.
what? I've been saying, I'm sorry, guys.
You know what the
I'm not
but
I'm
you know what the
sorry.
difference is between us and you all in this scenario? Is there's 100 of you.
Oh.
I can do that 100 times today. You can't do that 100 times. So when you step up to a guy, you better come correct. If this applies to any woman, if you see a guy that you like, you step up to, you better come correct. Because I can step up and get 100 rejections. I'll sleep. You won't sleep for a week.
You know what, Brian? I retract what I said. The truth is, it's not a DM. A DM, I think I could shoot my shot. But if I'm out
In a DM?
public, yeah, rather. I'm not brave enough for rejection face to face. I'd be livid and embarrassed. Like,
You're telling me, oh.
I have
I'd
been
be
too scared. I
broken.
don't have the balls.
I'll probably go to the gym.
You know,
without-
okay, let me give you
Oh
an
my-
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of what I would do. I don't know you, right? I'm not going to use that because that's controversial. I don't know you, and I walk up to you and says, "Listen, I think I'm kind of cool. What do you think? Check me out."
But you have game.
But that's the point. Listen to what I came with. This will probably make you smile.
Yes,
It'll
I'm
probably, you think it's
smiling
funny.
already. I'm
At the
like-
same time, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're giving
I
your
know.
opinion, and I might say, "Look at my ass, how it looks in these jeans."
I'm already checking you out, and I'm like,
Okay, but if I say those things, isn't I'm
No,
sexualizing myself?
listen.
Oh.
No, it depends on who's talking. Because we know what we
this
know.
is what would happen. He'd be like, I'll be like,
You understand? And whether
you look good.
whether you want to be with me or not, and you've seen me do this many times, you do it while I'm walking with you. Whether you want to be with me or not, when I walk away, you'd go,
Yeah.
and you say, "Princey,
I'm already checking you out.
do you understand?" But
10 more minutes to 2 hours.
but me as a man, I've learned the art of this game because I understand my value, and this is where we're taking this. I understand my value. Do you understand? So we need our girls to understand their value. And when they understand their value and understand the value of a man, because there's certain value they should look for, it'll be so much easier for them. And I always tell myself that, listen, and I know this sounds cocky, it's our loss. Hey, that she loses out, you know. And some women are just worth me pursuing a little longer. You know what I'm saying? They're worth me pursuing a little longer, but I wouldn't pursue a woman too long. Because as much as they're worth me pursuing a little longer, no one's worth me making a fool of myself.
You see, I didn't see that until now. We literally need to teach the girls what are they worth. Not just what they have acquired, where did I go to school, how many degrees you have, but what is she worth?
What's different? How's she going to be different? How you will tell her, you will find something that makes you
You.
out of those 50 girls in the island. And the weirdest thing is it all the basic things that you'd ask for. It's those things. See, because they're not living in an island, so they'll say everything else. And yet they don't realize they're just living in a bigger island. It's those things.
And you know, so everybody's expected to, you finish school, you go to university. So it's kind of the world that we're living in the human world where, okay, a joint income is expected. But, so women, I know the rebuttal that we would get here is, you know, at the end of the day, I'm contributing to half of the bill, so why this? And we already spoke earlier about that. But women, somebody really smart and handsome taught me this. Women are given the option when the baby comes. Okay, you can stay at home and be a mommy. And there's a statistic, I can't remember where I heard it, you might have watched it somewhere, basically, where when women are given that option, they take it more times than they don't.
I took it
So
for 10 years.
yes, oh, there you go. So this is another reason that yes, our degrees are impressive, yes, our careers are impressive as a human being on a human level. What we're talking about now is, okay, where we're talking about marriage and wives and husbands, what are these qualities that we need here? All of those things are good. I mean, we got to talk about growth and finance, we got to pay things, and yes, I should compliment you. But I think that's what the biggest takeaway for me is there's a place for everything. And understand that if you're given the choice, you're not going to do all those things. You're going to want to be a mommy. So, you know, bring back femininity, bring back nurturing. Nurturing is so important. As a woman and as a potential wife, I understand that I have you and our kids. I have the control whether they're obese or whether they're malnourished. You know, you can see, you know, with your husband and how if he's, depending on what his regimen is, you can make the whole family healthy or unhealthy. That's a huge responsibility and an honor,
And also a nourishment of food nourishment. We also need psychological nourishment.
So, yeah.
As a nurturer, the psychological nourishment is important. You know, how you psychologically nourish them, and especially our females, especially our girls. Because they're living in a world where they actually get told to go against the grain.
Yes. Psychological nourishment. So we've got 5 minutes left. So I love that, mental health, to close on that. Because nothing we said here was revolutionary. And most of the points were, in terms of expectations, you could, you know, replace them. But under nurturing, make sure you're being kind with your words as well. because it affects the home.
Exactly.
So, in closing, final words.
Yeah, for me, be an example of, as a woman, to your sons. And be an example as a woman to your daughters. Be an example. Because you're the example. Be an example. You have to be an example of what he needs and what she should be. And they learn more from that.
That's fair. Sam?
In closing, I would say we as women, not just women, people in general, need to start paying attention to what you worth, not what you have. Not what you have. And that becomes your true value. Know yourself.
And for me, it goes right back down to king and queening. Let's make sure that we understand what we define that as and what we expect and what we hold valuable. But the number one thing is you're not selfish. You're thinking,
Play your part.
play a role. You understand your role, where everyone goes, and just maybe when you're thinking about the great.
Is this what you're going to teach the girls?
One of the things. I mean, yeah, you
Because
should
that's what
queen.
we started
Yeah.
with, so I don't know what we can teach them.
Or be a queen. Understand that you're in charge of a kingdom. And this is the role of him. And when he stands in front of you, that means he's giving his life. So please respect him. Please be respectful. We already started with you. So we can maybe break that down, king and queendom in a different session. But I like that it ended on that. If you queens see queens, number one, and remember that if you expect your man to be a king, treat him as such. And of course, it goes without saying, young men, right, you are a king. Okay, Cedra, I think that's all right.
That's excellent.
Okay, that was fun.